easy. Used to just be like, take a picture, and now I'm afraid to touch the darn thing because the yellow light goes on, or I slap on a filter and I don't know how to undo it and it fuzzes out the background, and why is it a square? It used to be a triangle, I don't know. Some people feel that way, right? Whereas other people say, no, this is a perfect example of building a minimal viable product at scale, right? People get a skateboard, they like it. Then we give them a scooter, they like it. We give them a bike, they like it. We give them a car, they like it. The whole time they just like it. I think this visualization misses kind of the difference between skateboards and cars a little bit, but hey, it's okay. So actually, why don't I ask you, is this feature creep? Just adding stuff?
Yes, and.
Yes, and? Or is it a great example of MVP? Who says feature creep? Okay, one person. MVP, it's awesome. Everybody should work like this. Okay, who hates raising their hands in the auditorium things? Good. Okay, I know where we stand for the rest of this. But what happens when it's not just the camera? What about messaging? 10 years ago again, there was messaging on the original iPhone, but all you could do was send text messages. And I know this is going to scare the living crap out of you, but there were no emojis. This was a world without emojis. Did exist. Now, of course, not only are there emojis, but you can attach pictures, you get like a live feed where you can record a video, you can pick anything in your camera roll, you can search for images and GIFs to send to people, you can use it like a walkie-talkie to record audio back and forth. The more you poke around here, the more mysterious things you find. It turns out you can actually like record your heartbeat with the watch and draw over it and send that as a message. So you can have like a pa-pum, pa-pum, love you, pa-pum. Somebody gets that text message. And they feel it too. Have you done this? If they get it on their wrist, they actually feel your heartbeat on their wrist. I'm told that means something. If that's not enough for you, you can go and add apps to messaging, right? And they have all these sticker packs and app packs. There's a whole store for messaging stuff. So if one of your friends is working real hard to drink more water, it turns out you can install an app into Messenger to encourage them. This hydration pack here. Right? You can send them a sticker that's like, keep going. Almost there. It's just like things drinking water and pictures of water and water bottles. What about if you wanted to send one of those pictures you had to people? Well, back then you actually could, but again, this is going to seem like a dark time. You could only email them. If you want to get a photo, and some people still do this, by the way, you could only email that photo. Today, if you want to share something, God bless you, right? The assortment of options that you have available to you, if you'd like to send a photograph to a human being, are beyond compare, right? Tons and tons of stuff. And I look at this and I think, there's this conversation to be had around things used to be so easy, and now, look at this. Are we empowering people or terrifying people? Is the smartphone now in a state of complexity that it was when the original simplified version of the smartphone came out? Primed for disruption again? I don't know. When I look at this, though, what I reflect on the most is this is an example of what people who make software do. They add shit. What are we going to do? Let's add something to it. What are we going to add? I don't know. It's a bunch of ideas. Okay, let's add it. Let's add another thing. Let's add more stuff. Right? That's one of the main things we do when we make software. We add things to stuff. Great example. But we don't just add things to stuff. We do one other thing, which is we redesign stuff. We add things, we redesign things. Oh crap, we added too much stuff. Let's redesign it. Okay, now let's keep adding more. Great. Now we have added too much stuff. Let's redesign it. And the cycle completes. So if we look, again, 10 years ago at iOS, this was the first calculator app that came with iOS. It stayed looking like that for about 2 years until they redesigned it in iOS 3. And then, of course, they had to redesign it during the flat design era. It was the iOS 7 version. And very recently, it got another overhaul, iOS 11. So every couple years, 3 or 4 years or so, they redesign the calculator app. And I have to sort of ask, have we gone round and round? Is this an example of circular logic? Or does this add up to a set of well-rounded designs? Is it a calculated move on Apple? I'm a dad, I can go all day on those. Somebody stop me. Let's stop talking about Apple for a second and switch over to Twitter, right? Making an app for Twitter. And sometimes you don't have to work at a company to just sort of smell the strategy on what they do, right? You can sort of look at them like, oh yeah, okay. I understand what they're doing. And it comes through a lot when you look at the design of products, right? And so I wasn't at Twitter during these years, but I just have a sneaky suspicion of what some of the thought processes were that they're going through. And I believe somewhere around 2010, they came to the realization that they need a mobile app. So they bought this app called Tweety, which was kind of popular, and this is what it looked like. Right, so here we go. This is the Twitter iOS app. Now, they redesigned it, of course. And in 2011, they added some labels. And so, there's this common refrain, if only people understood Twitter, more people would use it, right? So how do they make it more understandable? Well, let's label things and change the icons a little. Maybe people will understand it then. Then, of course, flat design came around. Notice the theme yet? And they were like, well, people still don't really understand it. Maybe if we get rid of these weird symbols like the @ and the hashtag, then people will get it. Let's call it more normal stuff like messages or notifications. Then maybe people will get it. Then somebody got the idea that, no, people don't understand Twitter because we need a point of view. We are real-time news, so let's add this big moments thing here in the center to emphasize what we're all about. Oh crap, nobody's adding moments, so maybe if we stick it behind this thing that looks like search, then people will go there? So maybe we can be real-time news that way? And then at some point they're just like, screw it. And again, I kind of have to ask. Now, Twitter, pretty much every year, like clockwork, they redesign their mobile app, they change things up, right? That's not how every company operates. If you look instead at Facebook, right, and you compare Twitter's process to Facebook's process, here's how they iterate year over year. On Facebook, this is like some of the mobile app navigation menus that are live right now. And if you really dig deep, I had started a thread on accident where people just started sending me pictures of their screenshots of Facebook. Right? And I had to create like a Google Doc to track them all, and there's like a spreadsheet, and people are entering them, and I counted at least 72 versions of mobile navigation live at this moment for people. Right? And again, I don't work at Facebook, but I think somebody had the idea, you know what? We're going to machine learn the hell out of this navigation. Forget about making choices. Okay, design team, go make us like 3,000 icons. We're going to feed it into this bucket, and it's going to spit out what the nav should be for any random person. Different approach, right?